Okay, I'm going to say this. I'd never do self-serving things, self-promoting things, but I called this.
You did.
Tell me I didn't. I called this. I said an overtime loss to Arizona State, and I'll tell you exactly why.
I wish you were good at calling wins.
We're moving on to the Utes now, by the way.
Yes,
Let's get out there. I know, right? Tell me about it. I wish I could call wins too. Here's the thing. Arizona State has won a lot of close games. The Utes have won a lot of close games. You knew this game was going to be neck and neck. You absolutely knew it. There's no doubt in my mind. The thing is, when you're facing another team that is pulling out miracle victories, it's going to be tough to get that. Plus, you're on the road and this team was ranked 14 at the time. I think they're up to 11 now, I want to say.
Right.
And honestly, we never like moral victories in the studio, in Studio B. We hate them. We always say all the time. But that's a damn good accomplishment to go into Arizona State, take them to overtime. They're ranked 14th, and to just shut down that offense. That's the most impressive thing to me. They shut down that offense.
Look, we talked about it. There are no moral victories. This is big boy football. You're one step down from the NFL. The bottom line was the game was there. If you look at overtime, 3rd and 1, Devontae Booker is wide open, and Travis Wilson instead chooses to throw it away right at the down marker.
Yep.
Let me just say this. I feel like, and maybe this is just my life experience, being a Bears fan, being a Utes fan, I ask my quarterbacks to be smart and do one thing, but they always seem to take it to the extreme. Now, congratulations, Travis Wilson. You still haven't thrown an interception, and I'm proud of you for that. But you still haven't made a believer out of me, okay? 12 for 22 for 57 yards doesn't win.
That's ridiculous.
Does not win in the big sky.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, if you cannot complete 12 balls for more than 4 yards a pop, we're not going to win.
No.
And as I was watching the game and as I rehashed the game in my brain over the last couple days, I still am shocked that we didn't see Kendall Thompson. And guess what? You got to believe right now, at least I believe, Travis Wilson was on a really short leash this week versus Oregon.
They're already
more than ever.
They're already saying that. A couple things I want to address. First of all, they're already opening up the starting job competition again.
Here it is,
which is ridiculous.
You wanted.
This is terrible. Second of all, I want to ask you. So you would agree that in this game in particular, but also it's kind of an overall theme for the Utes this year, is that they need more from the passing game, right?
Right.
And you have maintained that Kendall Thompson is the better option all season long.
Not all season long.
Okay.
What I've maintained is that since I saw his performance at UCLA, and I think especially in this game where we saw Dave Christensen unwilling to call any deep balls, and again, Utah fans, all the time that you've been complaining about Drez Anderson dropping balls, which he has dropped a few. I'm not going to say he hasn't.
Big ones.
Big ones he has. But guess what? All that room that he creates via speed and the perception that the defense knows he can beat you deep, that wasn't there this week.
You're right.
And the passing game did nothing to even – that wasn't even in Arizona State.
This isn't new, though. When Kendall Thompson's playing, it's the same. It's
but he
worse.
Can run.
But who cares?
I think
Travis Wilson got a lot done with his legs, a ton. We don't need any. The Utes do not need any more running. They don't. It's detrimental because it's not helping. What they need to do is they need to keep the defense honest. They need to have some sort of threat where they can pass it 10 yards at least.
And who I said at the very beginning of the year, it's time to insert Connor Manning. If we're gonna mix it up, if we're gonna mix it up and have an open QB session, let's throw Connor Manning in there. He may not be able to run, but he can throw.
And, at this point, honestly, give him a shot. I mean,
look, the defense is out of this world. And we talked about it last week. We thought this would be – I picked him to win. You picked him to lose in overtime. Kudos to you. But this is the first week the defense hasn't scored a touchdown. And what do we get? A loss. It should be pointed out, though, if I can't remember the DB who dropped the interception.
Hatfield
could have had an interception there. The defense played really well against a high-octane offense who always seems to get after the Utes defense no matter how well they're playing coming into the game. I can't imagine how frustrating it must be for those guys week in and week out to lay it on the line against top-tier opponents and not have your offense be able to score 20 points.
It's
20 freaking points, man. We're not talking – I'm not asking to go Oregon on anyone.
Right.
I'm saying let's just drop a touchdown and 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals.
The defense did absolutely everything you could possibly want them to do. They can't keep scoring points for you. They can't keep doing your job for you. At some point, you're going to have to step up and do something. Devontae Booker is the only one who can do anything, and he was struggling. They shut him down early, and he was able to fight through that, so you got to give props to him. But at some point, and honestly, I'm not even – Travis Wilson, it was a big issue. He was a big issue in this game, but I am putting the blame on this loss 100% on Dave Christensen. I thought the play calling was god-awful. It was the worst play calling offensively I have ever seen in my life.
Absolutely. I didn't, and if I wasn't clear, I'll put it on him too. Let me tell you 3 things. These short out passes aren't going to work. Travis Wilson never even looks to the middle of the field. Wesley Tonga, big performance in USC. What do you get the next week? 3 receptions for 11 yards? Yep. I mean, come on. Sometimes you got to go with the hot hand. And, look, it's really easy if you're an opposing defense to guard Utah. Stuff the run and play the perimeter. Because you know what? You could leave the middle of the field open with a dude sitting 35 yards down the middle. They're never going to look there.
And here's Here's what's absurd is Travis Wilson doesn't excel at the fades. He doesn't excel at the bubble screens.
Right.
Where he can – and this goes for Kendall Thompson as well. The only effectiveness they're ever going to have is throwing over the middle. Slant routes. That's it. Give him some slant routes. Why do you not play to his strengths? Why do you ask him to do these rollouts?
Or even seam route. Even tight end seam routes.
I don't understand. I mean, I understand you don't trust him. I get it. The quarterback play's been horrible. I understand that. But play to his strengths. You've been with him all season. In fall camp, in spring camp. How do you not know to call plays to where he excels? I just don't. The read option, that's good. Travis Wilson excels with the read option. That's where he gets most of his success. That's not a passing play. You've got to keep the defense honest. You want to make this easier on Devontae Booker? Then just keep the defense honest. Throw some slant routes. Make them defend the pass at least a little bit.
I mean, it's from one string to another. Dave Christensen, I almost wonder if it's time to let Dennis Erickson get in there and call a game because you know what? You got to at least try. You got to at least try whether it's the middle of the field, deep middle. Look, we don't have any intermediate passing. His long was 13 yards. I'm a believer that football games are
and I think a lot of that was yards after the catch, too.
Right, and I'm a believer that you win football games in 3 ways. Good defense, running the ball, and the yardage between 15 and 20-yard passing plays from the line of scrimmage. Because, look, you can throw it deep, and a lot of those are going to be incomplete just based on the difficulty of the throw. But 15 to 20 yards, you really loosen up the defense for the run, and they should be reasonably expected to be completed at a 50% clip.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll see what he has on board because, USC, he called a lot better game, and we were actually impressed.
Right.
And then it's like a regression. I don't know what happened in practice, but look, Travis Wilson started at least 20 games now, I'm saying, probably in his career, if not more. And to have a playbook that is so small, high school kids would laugh at, that's like what the Utes working with right now.
It's embarrassing. And then to take it one step further, and then, we have to move on, but take it one step further and to just shatter his confidence. It doesn't matter who you're starting. Every week, if you're telling him you're going to get pulled, I mean, we're going to make this competition open. I don't understand the benefit of that. I mean, I understand wanting to get a better quarterback in there, and the reasoning Whittingham gave actually, he had some points, but you are destroying. These quarterbacks are too scared to make any sort of mistake because they're going to lose their job. It's not how you run a team. It's not how you instill confidence in your players by saying, well, you're going to be yanked if you screw up. They're so scared to mess up that they're not going to take any chances. First of all, the offensive coordinator is not doing him any favors. They're not helping him with the play calling. Second of all, any chance that they have to take that might give them an edge or help the offense move the ball, they're not going to take it because they're too scared of screwing up. of making a mistake and getting yanked.
Well, and not only that, like, look, you can't win that way. Look, the Utes have won. I know they've been in all their games, but eventually, and I think Arizona State's a perfect example, and I think Oregon will be if we continue on the same path. Eventually, your defense is going to break a few times, and you're going to get routed. You have to keep the defense honest. And the only way you can do that, throwing the ball, is by getting a little depth to the pass, which means you have to run more than 8 yards past the line of scrimmage. I don't even care if they're completed. It just has to be a thought.
Yep, I agree.
And right now, if you're defending Utah, no thought. And secondly, when you run Booker 34 times, I think it was in this game. Let me check. Pardon me. I underestimated. 37. I was under the impression, the way I was raised watching football is you run a guy 37 freaking times who gets 151 yards, basically a 4.0 average per carry, so you can play action. I saw zero freaking play actions. Why?
Because he doesn't trust the quarterback.
See, on these draws when it's 2nd and 25 and you run a draw on every 2nd and 25 in the whole game, this would be a good time to throw in a play action, slip the slot receiver right behind the linebacker as he comes up over the middle, and bust him for 18 yards.
Well, and how about
unfortunately, that is not in our playbook.
And how about a 3rd and 8 and you have to get the first down. You have to.
Right.
And you're running Devontae Booker.
Let's run a draw.
Explain that to me. I don't understand.
Dude, he is not Bo Jackson on Tecmo Bowl. He's one hell of a player.
Right.
But he's not Bo Jackson on Tecmo Bowl.
That's right.
Okay?
He's amazing, but you can't ask him to do anymore. It's ridiculous. Dave Christensen, something's going on. The popular opinion is that Kyle Whittingham keeps tinkering with his offenses, and that's why there's so many offensive coordinators. And maybe that's it. I don't know. But there's always friction between Kyle Whittingham and his coordinators, at least offensively, and that's got to stop. He's got to stop.
Well, let's say this then. Given how the special teams have been performing lately, maybe Kyle Whittingham should start spending more time with them because they were a highlight at the beginning of the year. And over the last few weeks, minus Clay's return versus USC, that should have been taken back. And they haven't.
Let's hit this real quick because we definitely got to move on. But look, let's give the kicker a break. Please.
Amen.
And you know what? And I do got to say that no one jumped on Andy Phillips except for one very, very notable exception, and I'm not even going to bring it up. Everyone was very supportive of him after he missed that kick because you got to know that we wouldn't have been even in most of these games if it wasn't for him. He's been making long kicks, make them look like they're 30-yarders. And I think
he's only missed 2 kicks all year, people.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, kind of 3 because he got a second chance at this one. But he overcompensated. That was a big problem. He missed the first one, then overcompensated. The guy is still incredible. I'd still rather have him than almost any other kicker in the country. But so I'm very proud of the fan base for not jumping because you see this all the time. When a kicker screws up, he's the first one to be crucified by the fan base.
Right. Being a kicker it's the worst job I firmly believe that you could ever have in any sport level because no one gives a crap really when you make them. But the first one you miss that matters, everyone hates you.
I agree.
I mean, even Peyton Manning hated Mike Vanderjagt.
That's
Jack.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, when he's saying so that just kind of tells you that. But this Utah team and fan base appreciates that we finally have another good kicker, and they got his back. And you know what? We're gonna need him. Let's be honest. Given that the offense can't score, he's gonna play a crucial role if we're gonna win a few more games.
He has all year. He's the only reason we're putting points on the board.
Right.
Other than Devontae Booker.
Right.